Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and we had another song reveal yesterday, and we had another one today, and we're probably going to have another one tomorrow, because when we're not having Super Saturdays, we're having rapid-fire song reveals all in a row, because that's just how this year rolls. I don't know how we do it at other years, it's just, this year it feels like it's like in bursts, where we have 3 all at once, and then boom, 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 for the rest of that week, another song every single day, whereas in other years it feels like it's more spread out, and I'm not entirely, because we had hardly any in January, that explains it. Well, never mind. Yesterday was the turn of Croatia to finally show off their song. Now, I say yesterday, technically they released the instrumental track of the song the day before. I'm not sure what the thinking behind that was, but it's a decent instrumental, but I'm getting very much ahead of myself. The artist is the man, the myth, the legend, Gospodin Glas, or Mr. Voice himself, Jacques Houdek, who was actually Nina Kralic's coach on The Voice before she represented her country last year. So, yeah, bit of a big name, I would have thought, yeah. So the song by Jacques Houdek is called My Friend, to be performed in both English and Italian, but of course the title's in English. It was the music was written by Jacques Houdek, Tony Roberts-Malm, and Sinisha Relic, and lyrics by Jacques Houdek again, Ariana Kunstek, Fabrizio Laucella, and Inez Prajo, Prajo. I'm not entirely sure if that's Spanish or Croatian or some other language, so I don't know whether it's Prajo or Prajo or Prajo. That's how it's spelled anyway, and if you happen to be watching, I'm so sorry for butchering your name. I'm doing my best, I promise. So anyway, an interesting choice from Croatia, because they've got a big name with a big voice and 2 languages to sing in, and I think from what information I've gathered from researching, he's known for singing in multiple languages anyway, so apparently that was my impression of doing this review in gibberish. Okay, first thoughts on the song. Calm down, Tess. Well, damn, Croatia! You don't mess around, do you? And sincerely, are we sure this is all just one guy singing the song? He has seriously got it all going for him. He's got mid-tones, he's got falsetto! I can't do a good falsetto. Falsetto! And the seriously deep stuff. I could see why this guy's a coach on the Croatian version of The Voice, or the most beautiful Croatian voice, as they call it, or something like that, and najlepši glas Hrvatske, something like that. The only thing is, it's another great vocalist in this year's Eurovision. Damn it! Of course, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that this year's contest is so heavily populated with good singers. It just means that I keep saying the same thing over and over again in my reviews. Oh, good singer, good vocalist, good voice. It's good, but it makes me sound like a broken record. First world problems, am I right? Still, if it means we have a masterclass of singers at Eurovision this year, it's a price I will quite happily pay. So, let's go a little deeper into things then. What do I make of this Disney-esque demi-duet delight then? Well, first of all, I have to say it, don't I? He's got the voice, or should I say voices, of an angel. Seriously. More so than a lot of Eurovision songs, both past and present, his voice is the driving force behind the song. It gives the song character, direction, emotional weight, and generally an impressive quality that could well hit home with a lot of people when it reaches the stage in Kiev. That isn't to say that the song is absolutely nothing without him, though. After all, like I said, they did release the instrumental track of the song one day before they released the full song as a single. And they're right to be proud of it. There is some god-tier classical composition in there. It is legitimately really impressive. As someone who used to play the violin in a classical orchestra, I can appreciate just how much has gone into this, and it doesn't sound all that dated for it, at the very least, just purely from a compositional point of view in the way it's executed. It's a classical style without just being classical for the sake of it. And I know I'm sort of blurring the lines somewhat with my definition of classical here, but bear with me. I'm speaking in Tess. Surely you can understand me at this point. But yes, make no mistake, this is the work of some serious professionals, this song is. I did also allude to this song being rather Disney-like in quality. Not necessarily a plus point unto itself, but this song is definitely worth recognising for how damn uplifting and inspirational it is. It's such an enlightened song. It definitely sounds as though it's performed by someone who is going to absolutely embody the message in mind, body, and spirit when he hits the stage in Ukraine. As it stands, I don't even need a video to visualise the inevitable look of joy on his face as he delivers what is sure to be an absolutely astounding performance of this song live. Is there a word in English for, happy melancholy? Because that's kind of what this song is, and Jacques conveys it perfectly in basically every way. He's got the right sort of face for, I'm singing and I'm genuinely happy and it's a happy song! Yes! overreactions aside, let's look at the other side of this cornflake. I'm really running out of metaphors for how to say let's look at the things I don't like about the song, but bear with me. Once again, speaking in Tess, surely you understand me. Okay, serious face. Right. I'll start with something a little bit petty just on my part. It opens with a really rather cheesy spoken quote. Sure, it adds to the song's inspiring message, and it is a nice quote that's good to keep to heart. You know, there are two ways to live your life. As if everything is a miracle or as if nothing is a miracle. That's okay, yeah, that's cute. I think I got it backwards. But it's cute, it's nice. But it really does come across as cheesy the way it's included in the song. And spoken word sections of songs, especially in Eurovision, tend to be a turn-off for quite a few people as well, myself included. I have some sort of cringe reflex with that, which isn't Jacques' fault, because, I mean, sure, like, I liked Armenia's Love Wave last year, even though that started with what sounded like a drunken philosophical phone call from 4 a.m. in the morning, as opposed to 4 a.m. at night. Well done, Tess. But in the end, even Iveta herself saw it fit to cut part of that out when she sang it at the contest itself. So, it is nice, but it's not really a popular trope to use in a competitive song. But I mean, that doesn't mean that he can't do it. This is just my advice as someone who's seen this stuff before. And something that's arguably even pettier and even more of just a me thing. I feel as though the lyrics obsess over the word miracle just a little bit too much. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. That's not necessarily inherently wrong. I just have some sort of internalized cringe reflex once again whenever something or someone obsesses over something. If someone uses the same word or phrase over and over again, focusing on it so much to the point that it loses all meaning, it's just that's their go-to random catchphrase of the day. That I don't know, that just bothers me in my head. Maybe it's just a projection of myself and I don't like repeating myself too much, and I'm projecting all of my troubles onto a really beautiful song, and for that I should feel like a bad person. I mean, yeah, I get it. Germany's winning song from 2010, basically a worrying percentage of that was the word love, but I feel like that gets a free pass in this particular case because the word is basically meaningless. It's just to fill space in the song. In this case, he really wants the word miracle to mean something, but he can't really find any synonyms for it, so he's just like, oh, hey, you see this miracle? It's a miracle. There's a miracle that happens every day. Did I mention it's miraculous? And I don't know, that's not necessarily the song's fault. That's just me, but that is something that I don't like, so I'm including it in the what I don't like section, so that's why I phrase these reviews the way that I do. One slightly more valid point that I could make, though, is that because the song is sung in two languages and in two very different voices, but still distinctly by the same guy, it can start to feel a little bit disjointed in a way, just a little bit. At the very least, it makes it a bit harder to keep track of where you are in the song, because he's flipping and flopping back and forth between English and Italian, high and low and middle, and again, maybe it's just me, maybe it's just in hindsight, but that also makes it rather difficult to commit to memory, or at least more so than if it were in one language, but then again, it gives the song texture and character, so it's sort of a double-edged sword, I suppose. And I could also say, oh yeah, depending on your taste, you could call it old-fashioned as well, because classical, whatever. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I wouldn't say it myself, but I can see why someone might think it, so, that was a rather sloppy way of, there goes the, that was a bit of a sloppy way of closing the dislike section, but whatever. Moving on. Croatia, what are your scores out of 10 from me? Well, I'll start with my personal one, as is tradition. I'm going to go with an 8. I was originally going to put 7, and I thought, no, I could justify giving it an 8. I'm honestly not sure how I actually feel about this one. I mean, one half of me is positively enchanted by the sheer power and spectacle of his voice, and the amazing composition of the piece itself. Not to mention the shades that I'm getting from it of Latvia's entry in 2007, Questa Notte by Bonaparte.lv, which is a strange name for a group, but whatever. I'm getting shades of that in this song, and I loved Questa Notte. And I also appreciate the semi-arbitrary inclusion of Italian in there anyway. I mean, composition-wise and language-wise, it reminds me of that other song. And in my mind, and in my mother's mind as well, a weird commonality there, I think Italian lyrics always sound really poetic, especially if they're done just right, because I've heard from actually you lovely people in the comments, especially under my review of Italy's song, that the Italian school of songwriting is do the lyrics first. Lyrics are most important. Lyrics take top priority and then write everything around them. And that mentality shows in a lot of Italian pop music and in this song, which is partly in Italian, so I'm sort of lumping it in there, and it works really well. But then again, there's another part of me that worries that it might seem a little old-fashioned for some people's tastes, especially in Eurovision of 2017, or at the very least, that it comes across as a lasagna song, which, in case you're not familiar with how I speak, that's my word for a song where you only like it if you're in the right mood, and if you're not in the right mood, then you won't enjoy listening to it, but if you are, then you will. And part of me as well is soundly disquieted by the spoken word stuff at the beginning. So it's a nice quote, I wouldn't put it in there myself. And in the end, I think an 8 is justified because I know I like it to one degree or another. I just can't distill my thoughts any further than that. Having said that though, technically, I'm slapping this one with a nice hearty 10. That's right, I went there. Sure, the spoken word thing counts against it in my personal estimation, and the composition might be a little older or retrospective in style than what we're accustomed to at this point, but I seriously don't think those 2 points have enough of a negative impact to really outweigh just how positive I feel about the technical aspect of the composition. You know, the strings especially, like I said, god-tier stuff, really professional, beautifully written stuff. Especially coupled with the uplifting story of the song and the absolute journey that is his voice. The song is an experience, and in all good conscience, I cannot deny that. So, good job, Croatia. It's a good. Despite that, though, compared to last year, I'll get this over with quickly and painlessly, I still think that Lighthouse is the better entry. If nothing else, I fell in love with Lighthouse completely, entirely, head over heels from my very first listen. There were no ifs, no buts, no humming and hawing. I knew immediately how I felt, and I felt good. And go figure, Nina was actually mentored by Jacques, so there's good taste in vocal capabilities no matter which way I slice this decision. But at the end of the day, Nina had the most instant appeal that I've ever encountered in a song, Eurovision or otherwise. And her song was a bit more marketable and a bit less easy to dismiss as, oh, it's just dated, or, oh, it's overly soppy, or whatever. But being the soft touch that I am, I will reiterate, as I have with basically every other comparison in this series, both songs have more than their fair share of merits. In this case, Croatia just happens to be a hotspot for high-quality music with high-quality vocals right now. I just really loved Lighthouse, that was my winner last year, and it would take a lot to top that. Sorry, Jacques, but will we be seeing it again in the final? I saw one comment on the song as it was posted on the official Eurovision YouTube channel, link to that in the description by the way, declaring that this song would either 100% win or 100% flop, and that there was no middle ground. It would either do really well or terribly, and it wouldn't do in the middle. I don't think it's quite that extreme in either direction, just clarifying, but I do agree with that comment to a fair extent. I'm in exactly two distinct minds about this. On one hand, it might be a huge, firm favourite that does really well, it'll shoot into the final with ease, and the juries will back him for his voice and the style of the song, and the public will be emotionally invested from the word go. Or, on the other hand, it could just disappear in a puff of Balkan and be overlooked for being dated, or boring, or whatever people happen to think of it. It is absolutely, possibly one of the biggest gambles of this year, but it's a well-crafted gamble, and I'm not going to overlook that. And I respect Croatia for picking a song like this. Well, to what extent Croatia was responsible, it was the people in charge of it was an internal selection is what I'm getting at, but it's a good song. I just don't know how people will feel about it for the time being, but I look forward to finding out. So I will say, good luck to you, Croatia. You are quite the hotbed of talent at the moment, so please don't withdraw from Eurovision again. I really like your songs. And yeah, good luck, and we will see you in Ukraine.